All right, welcome back. What we're going to do in this video is, first of all, we're going to go over the homework that I assigned in the last video. And that homework is found on page 13 of the textbook, exercise 3.4, and we're looking at B, where it says pars. Now, I did number 1, gnoskais, and number 2, ekamen for you, and then I turned the rest of the assignment over to you. So if you haven't done that, you need to stop the video right now and you need to finish this assignment. You need to do 3 through 10 on page 13. Parse it. Remember what that means. You're going to give the tense, voice, and mood, which right now is nothing but present, active, indicative. Then you're going to give the person and the number, and then the root word that it comes from. And then it would be good if you went ahead and put the translation as well. That way you know that you've translated it correctly. So if you haven't done that, then you need to pause the video and do that now. If you have done that, we're ready to go over that. So look at, let me use a little bit darker pen here. All right, so the number 3, you have Augustine. Augustine. Now, let me just remind you from the last video, maybe I should have done this first. Remember how I made my chart last time? Had a singular and a plural, and we went O, ice, I, amen, ete, and then usi. You just have to know that. You have to know that in order to work with these particular verbs. So this is first person, second person, third person. So first singular, second singular, third singular, and then plural as well. I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. All right, so now let's apply what we have here to this word. Well, here is my ending. And so you should have written present. I'm just going to use a P for right now, guys. Present active indicative. This is third plural from ago, which means this means I lead. So since that's third plural, this is going to be they lead or they are leading. All right, next word, pimpai. All right, so again, I'm looking at my ending. Here it is right here. So I know it's third singular. So it's present, active, indicative, third singular from, whoops, almost wrote the wrong word here, from pimpo, which means to send or I send. And so since that's third singular, we'll go ahead and translate it. He sends. He is sending. Our next word is igairai. Immediately, you notice the same ending on both. So we got a present, active, indicative, third singular from igairo. So that is going to be he raises up. He is raising up. All right, let's get one more before I erase. And it looks like we're going with akuaman. All right, here's my ending. Let me just ask the question, is that a movable nu? The answer is no. That's actually part of the ending, amen. Is that a movable nu? The answer is yes. It's not a part of the ending. Do you remember from the last lesson that the Greeks sometimes put a nu at the end of this ending or an ending with a vowel when the next word started with a vowel or a diphthong, and it was for pronunciation purposes. So this is not a movable nu. It's actually part of the ending. And so you have here a present, active, indicative. That's first person, see? First person, plural from akuo. Akuo means I hear. And so akuaman means we hear. We are hearing. All right, so let's get rid of this. All right, now let's finish these up. So we have ekate. Okay, ekate. Let me switch markers, get something that marks a little darker. Ekate. All right, roughly, it's going to have a smooth bringing mark here. Okay, and you're going to have it as a present active indicative. Here's my ending. So second, plural from echo. And so that would mean y'all, right? You are having. You have, plural. Next, we have ferusing. Okay, is that a movable nu? Yes, it is, because here's the ending, Pharisee. See right here. But the movable nu again was used by the Greeks. Now you already know. I've already told you that more than once now. Present active indicative. You should have third plural from Pharaoh. Now, Pharaoh means I bear, so this is going to be they are bearing. Next, they actually give us a lexical form, akuo. I mean, that's the way you learned it in the vocab, right? So that's a present active indicative, first singular from akuo. I am hearing. And then last of all, didaskais. Okay, so present active indicative. Here we go, second person. So second singular from didasko. This means I teach, so you teach or you are teaching. You know, one of the things they didn't give us in this exercise that I might just give you, let's try this. What if you have this word? We'll take a word like, let's just take the word we use, like didasko. There's my root. What does it mean if I put this on the end? Didaskain. Well, you might be tempted to say, oh, that's a movable nu, but no, they don't put movable nus on the end of that. That's an actual ending. Do you recall from the last lesson what that ending is? Well, you may remember that I taught you that this is the ending for an infinitive. We did cover that in the last lesson. So this would simply mean to teach. To teach. So that's the infinitive of the word. Yeah, we did cover that. If you go back and look at the across the page, page 12, you see the box where they did the present active indicative of luo, luais, lui, luum, and luate, luusi. Then you see under that the infinitive equals luine, to loose. So there's your infinitive ending. All right. So hopefully you've got this idea of present active indicative. You understand the concept of taking a root of a verb, striking off the ending. Now you've got your root, and then you can add these endings. And remember, we call that conjugating a verb, conjugation of a verb. So if I gave you a little quiz right now, could you conjugate a verb? You should be able to in the present active indicative. You should be able to conjugate a verb. So if I said conjugate Pharaoh in the present active indicative, then you would say, or would write Pharaoh, Pharais, Pharai, Pharaman, Pharisee, Pharite, and then Pharisee. And then if you wanted to put the movable nu on it, you could. That would be optional. but that would be the conjugation of pharaoh in the present active indicative. I bear, you bear, he bears, we bear, you bear, plural, and they bear. That's how this works. So you need to make sure you have this in the noggin, okay? That you've mastered this. If you have questions about this, you need to don't go any further with the video until you've got this down. So this would be the time to reach out to me if you need some help in further understanding this particular process of conjugating a verb. Hopefully you can see how important it is, because here in just a few more pages, you're going to be translating small sentences, and you're going to be required to look at a verb and know how to translate it. Okay? All right. Very good. You're going to see the board. I'm going to pause and erase the board. Okay, so why don't we turn now to page 15? And you can see this is lesson 4, and it's called Nouns Second Declension. Nouns Second Declension. I'm not going to do all of this lesson in one video. I can already see that I probably need to take this a little bit slow, because now we're getting to the point to where you're getting a lot more information. It just keeps piling up as we go through the book. Okay. But what I always like to do at the beginning of the lesson is go through the vocabulary. And so we should do that. So I guess I should write these out so that you can, because I want to point out a few things to you. So bear with me while we write these out, okay? So you can see you have anthropos, smooth breathing mark, remember? On, not han, anthropos. And then I think I told you this in the last lesson, that when you have a noun in the vocabulary, they're going to give you the definite article that goes with it. Ha. This is a masculine noun, so anthropos. And you can see, excuse me, you can see it means man. I need to get something to drink. Hang on. All right. Thank you. All right. So ha anthropos, man, human being, person. You can see it there in the vocab. Second word, really easy word, apostolos. You don't even have to know Greek to know what that is, right? Apostle. Apostle. Again, notice the same definite article. Third, artos. Bread or loaf. Same definite article, ha. Now the fourth word looks different to you. Doron. And you'll notice that the definite article looks different. Ta. Ta. That's not to, as in the English, but ta. It's an omicron, ta, doron. Now, why does this look like this and this noun looks like this? And the answer is these are masculine nouns, and we know they're masculine because of this article and because of this ending. That's how we know. Masculine. These are, with you see this kind of ending, that's a neuter noun. So in Greek, you have nouns that are masculine. You're going to find out you have nouns that are feminine, and you have nouns that are neuter. So right now, what they're going to introduce to you are nouns in the second declension. By the way, you may be wondering, well, what makes them second declension? This connecting vowel right here makes it second declension. You see it there, and you see it there. So that connecting vowel is a sign of the second declension noun in the Greek New Testament. And right now they're teaching you second declension nouns, masculine and neuter forms. Okay, let's go on. Thanatos. Ha. So that's masculine, right? Again, you see it from the ending and from the article. Next word, hieron. Notice it's got a rough breathing mark over it, guys. And notice that you've got two vowels together, but that's not one of the diphthongs. So you actually pronounce these separately. Hieron, ta. It's neuter, means temple. Temple. All right, now the next word you have is the word kai. Now, kai is not a verb and it's not a noun. It's a conjunction. You can see it there in parentheses. Conjunction. It's a coordinating conjunction. Normally we translate it and, sometimes as even or also. Okay, I'm watching my clock because I only got about 5 minutes left before the bell rings. But I do want to finish this vocab. All right. Then we have the word kurios. Okay, again, masculine, means Lord. You can see in the textbook, it can be Lord with a capital L, Lord with a lowercase l. How will you know the difference? Context, as you're translating. Context will let you know. This is the word that's used, for example, in Romans chapter 10. If you confess with your mouth the Kurios Jesu Christou, the Lord Jesus Christ. Let's see, lithos. Lithos means stone. You ever heard of the term monolithic? One slab, one stone, right? That's it gets the lithic part comes from that, monolithic. Lithos. Nomos is the word meaning law, again, masculine, second declension. Oikos. I notice the breathing mark is over the second letter in the diphthong. This is a diphthong. Oikos, ha, means house. It's not hoikos, that's a smooth breathing mark. Oikos. Don't confuse oikos with the next word, aklos, ha. Aklos means crowd or multitude. And then finally, huios. Now that does have a rough breathing mark. So you want to put the H sound in the front of that. Huios, sun. All right, so again, all of these, with the exception of this, all of these are nouns. And you learned a few nouns in the last lesson. You learned, didn't we? Didn't we learn some nouns? Maybe we didn't. We've only done verbs? No, we did nouns earlier on. Lesson 2, angelos, adelphos, doulos, karpos, logos. Every one of those also were second declension nouns as well. So go back and look over your vocabulary. Here's one of the things you definitely want to do. You want to keep building that vocabulary. Don't let vocabulary get away from you, because it's not going to do you any good. Well, I can't say that. Let me just put it this way. It's going to slow you down if you learn endings but don't learn words. So as we're learning the verb endings like I've taught you, the o, ice, I, amen, edi, usi, you need to know that, but you also want to know verbs. That way you're not constantly running to a Greek lexicon. What does this word mean? What does this word mean? Trust me, you're going to have to do that enough anyway. So, but if you'll learn the vocab that's in this book, that's going to help you go a long way toward being able to read the Greek text without having to constantly consult the lexicon. Lexicon, by the way, is just the term we use when we talk about the dictionary that's got the Greek words in it. So if you ever hear me say lexical form refers to the way the word looks in the lexicon. These are all lexical forms of the word, and the verbs that we learned in the last lesson. Echo, egaro, pimpo, pharaoh, luo. Those are lexical forms. That's how you would find them in the Greek dictionary. Okay, so we're going to stop right here. So your homework is simple right now. Go over these words. Learn them. Learn the vocabulary. Go back over the vocabulary lesson 2 and 3 as well. Master these words. Use Quizlet. Make out flashcards, whatever helps you. But learn these words and don't forget those verb endings. So in the next lesson, if you look at the page that we're on right now, which is for lesson 4, page 15 at the bottom, that's what we're going to do when we come back next time. We'll take a look at the way nouns end. And we'll find out that for noun endings, we'll find out that noun endings give us case distinctions. And we'll find out what that is in the next lesson. Okay, so study hard. We'll see you next time.